Hey guys, this is a disclaimer. I recorded this video in 2 days, so don't be alarmed by the change of shirts after the intro. What's good, y'all? It's Zach coming in with my first video ever. Can't believe that it's finally here. So, for the first video, I'm talking about March Madness. If you see me looking down, I'm looking at my papers. I took some notes because I'm not really a college basketball fan. I'm a casual, but I do pay attention to the tournament because the tournament, anything is possible. As if you look at the matchups in the Sweet 16, you have the 12th seed Oregon State versus 8th Loyola of Illinois. You got Oral Roberts and Arkansas. You have Florida State and Michigan, which is the number 1 seed of their region. And you have the 7th seed Oregon and 6th seed USC. You have Villanova versus number 1 seed Baylor, which Villanova is the 5th seed. You have the 11th seed Syracuse versus the number 2 seed Houston. You have the 11th seed UCLA versus the number 2 seed Alabama. And you have the number 5 seed Creighton versus the number 1 seed Gonzaga, which most analysts would predict that they're going to be the national champs. I don't know though, because anything's possible in March. I want to cover the Cinderella teams, or what I deem as the Cinderella teams. The first one is Oral Roberts. For me personally, I was at the barbershop while I was watching the first round between Oral Roberts and Ohio State, and I found them to be very, very competitive, and I kind of liked them. You know, I liked how they played. They played hard, they played tough, and they definitely played like they wasn't scared, and they played like their lives was on the line. And Ohio State played like they had another day to live. But in the tournament, you really don't. You know, you have to put your heart, your life on the line for it. They beat Ohio State 75-72 in the nail biter. In the round of 32, Oral Roberts followed up their stellar performance against Ohio State against 7th seed Florida Gators, winning 81-78. Oral Roberts is scheduled to play Arkansas in the Sweet 16. The next team I want to cover is Oregon State. They are the 12th seed. They open up the tournament with a decisive win against the 5th seed Tennessee Volunteers, beating them 70-56. They left no doubts on who was the better team that day. Now, of course, we wouldn't say that they're the best team 10 out of 10 times, but on that one particular day, they were decisively the best team on the court. Now, in round of 32, the Beavers, they earned a 10-point win against the 4th seed Oklahoma State Cowboys, led by the potential number 1 pick in the NBA draft, Cade Cunningham. They won 80-70. The next team that I want to cover is the 11th seed UCLA Bruins. Their paths were a little bit harder because they had to do a play-in situation just to get into the tournament. They had to beat Michigan State, and they beat them 86-80. But if you look at the game wasn't really the story anymore. After the game, you can see the coach of Michigan State, Tom Izzo, and his player, Gabe Brown. They had a heated exchange, you know, coming off of an emotional loss. You know, things were probably said that probably wasn't meant, you know, and Tom Izzo, the coach, ended up grabbing the player. There's a lot of controversy about that. Personally, for me, Tom Izzo is an older coach, so that I wouldn't say it comes with the territory, but it is in his playing cards. It is, and I feel like the players they knew what they signed up for when they went to Michigan State to play. But that is a whole nother discussion. So let's keep it moving with the Bruins. The biggest thing after that was in the actual first round. UCLA played BYU, and they beat them by 11 points, beating them 73-62. And then in the round of 32, they won against Abilene Christian University soundly, 67-47. UCLA is slated to play Alabama in the Sweet 16. So we'll see if their story will continue in the tournament. The next team that I want to cover is the Syracuse Orange. They open up the tournament with a thumping win against the San Diego State Aztecs. Now, of course, it's a lower seed, so you can expect some blowouts. They end up winning 78-62 in the round of 32. The Orange, they were in a thrilling bout with the West Virginia Mountaineers. They end up winning 75-72, and they are planning to play the Houston Cougars in the Sweet 16. Now, this team right here is, America's little darling when it comes to March Madness. Loyola Ramblers of Chicago, Illinois, they are hard not to root for. They just hard not to root for. They are no strangers to the glass slippers. In the 2017-2018 season, they danced their way all the way up into the Final Four until the clock struck midnight when they played against Michigan. That was a great, good feel story. The underdog beating everybody all the way up into the Final Four. It gave us something to cheer for. Now they back at it again. This time, they took care of Georgia Tech in the first round, 71-60. And in the round of 32 is where the most shocking win of the whole tournament so far happened, where they beat the top-seeded Illinois basketball team 71-58. Now, I said earlier about playing like it was your last time. Now, Illinois, I don't know what happened to them. I don't know, they fell asleep. Loyola definitely took care of them. Now, those are the Cinderella teams that I chose to cover because they are interesting, they're compelling, and I take great joy in looking at underdogs. America in general, we like the underdogs. Look at all the movies and stuff like that. We like the bottom feeder, fighting their way up and becoming a powerhouse. Now, just because Illinois lost doesn't necessarily mean that the other number one seeds lost as well. So out of the 4 number one seeds in the tournament, 3 of them still remain: Baylor, Michigan, and Gonzaga. Now, they have all made it to the Sweet 16, and most basketball analysts, I feel like, will pick Gonzaga or Michigan to win the national championship. Now, in my opinion, that would be the safe bet. But if March ever taught us anything, that's nothing safe. Nothing safe. So I'm just going to watch as a fan, as a spectator, hoping for good games, great games, compelling stories, because that's what I'm about. I'm about compelling stories. I hope that, one of the Cinderella teams that I mentioned can make it into the Final Four. It would be a miracle if 2 of them could make it to the Final Four. But I'm praying for one, at least one. And as a conclusion to the video, I want y'all to hit me up in my social medias, comment sessions. Let me know who y'all think is going to win the tournament and why. Thanks for watching, and peace out.